worthy by design. A conversation on branding is more often than not channeled towards companies and corporate bodies, giving little or no thought to the impact branded individuals could have on the overall success of an organization. Beyond this, building a brand identity has the potential to set a person up for continued growth and impact. Hello, thanks for joining us on today's edition of Worthy by Design, brought to you by Advent Cable Network Nigeria, ACNNTV. On this show, we focus on the journey from girlhood to womanhood and everything in between. I'm Iberi Chims. Welcome. Our conversation today is on personal branding, the hows and whys. Joining me is Ifunanya Tine Anona. She's a fixer lawyer, yeah, the CEO of Cho Foods, yeah, and a brand strategist. It's so good to have you.
Thank you, Iberi, and it's always a pleasure to be on this show. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, so our conversation, personal branding.
Yeah.
Someone will ask, why personal branding? Because when we think of branding, we think of organizations, we think of companies, we think of corporate bodies. Why are we making this personal?
Okay, so it's a delight to be on this show again, which is focused on the girl, child, women, and maybe humanity in general. So, like I always say, based on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say personal branding is something we should all count as 1, even before we begin to count 2, 3. And here is why I say this. For example, most especially for small businesses, if you do not have a large budget for marketing your product, marketing your offerings, it could be goods, it could be services. I always advise people, brand yourself such that once you come to mind, your product follows.
Okay.
Yeah, so at that point, you do not have money to put it on the traditional media, TV, print media, newspapers, magazines. But then your childhood friends who you're still in contact with remembers you, and the next thing the person remembers that, oh, she's a doctor, or oh, she's a lawyer. And that's because you've been able to make your mission and your vision clear that beyond going to school to acquire this certificate, I actually practice it effectively and efficiently. And that is what I am, that is who I am, that is what I embody. You've been able to grow your confidence to a point where even if you're woken up from sleep, you're able to portray yourself as that thing intentionally. So when we talk of personal branding, it's you being intentional about who you really are and who you want people to perceive you as. So it's 2 ways. I am this thing, and I want you to know that this is who I am. So now, and the thing is, when we talk of branding, it's possible to actually brand yourself to be 3 things at once, such that we know you as a comedian, we know you as an MC, and we also know you as maybe a copywriter. Now, why I say it's possible is this. One person can actually, God has actually deposited a lot of virtues and talents and gifts in us. So I wouldn't advise, I'm not that person that will advise you to drop one for the other. If you're good in all of them, try as much as you can to push yourself to a point where people remember you for those things. And you're known for those things. And it's another thing to be all over the place. Today you're a teacher, then you hear that, okay, it is tech that is raining now. You just abandon the whole teaching thing and you're jumping into tech. Then tomorrow you hear that it is social media management too. You are no longer hearing about you and your teaching and your tech. The next thing you're on Twitter shouting, I am a social. No, at that point you're disconnecting everything. So now personal branding is in such a way that you're a teacher, you find out that the tech is in vogue now and it's really paying people's bills. Now what you're going to do is, how do I incorporate this tech skill? Then I incorporate it into my teaching. So what you do now is you're able to sell yourself as that teacher who is also in tech. Then if tomorrow you decide that, okay, I think I am able to sing, I know how to sing, at least in my toilet I sing and my neighbors are happy. Now you're also going to brand yourself in such a way that people know that my name is Ibere James, a teacher, maybe a techie and a musician, and now you're not, no one is suffering for the other. You're trying to push yourself in that line and try as much as you can to streamline things. Do not go about being that one person that is known for 1 million things. You can limit it to 5, 4, and that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, so that's amazing. Now there's a concern I have. You have mentioned that you can be a lot of things. You can be a tree with so many branches, right? So, but someone will say, is that not being jack of all trades? How do I get the brand thing, working when I'm jumping from this to that? And yeah, I can be good at all of it, but how do I get my roots down?
Okay, I think I like that question, and I will use myself as a practical example because I am a realist and I love to teach from a real life situation, not some Google research things. Now, for me, I am a lawyer first before any other thing. So what I do is, first of all, I got my brand name from my profession, which is the fixer lawyer. So oftentimes, people do not even know what my name is. Everybody just calls me the fixer lawyer. To the extent that my kids, sometimes they still call me the fixer lawyer because that's what they hear people call me. Now, I speak. So why was I able to achieve that? From the things that I do, from the way I portray myself online, from the things I sell out. Now, when people hear me speak on stage, oftentimes they approach me to say, can you host my event? What do? I turn them down and tell them, I am not a host, but I can be a panelist and I can be a speaker at that event. Now, you've seen that I am trying to
carve a
niche for myself, knowing that, yes, I may be good with the microphone, but you don't expect me to host, to be an MC, then to speak. No, I wouldn't do that. I just want to be known as a speaker who impacts people. So at that point, I've been able, and over time, this has come to stay, because now the amount of people who approach me for hosting is drastically going down, while those who approach me for speaking jobs has been on the increase. Now, so you find out that the visibility for that aspect of my branding is out there already. Now, and I am also a business coach, a strategist and a developer. Now, remember that I'm a lawyer and I'm a speaker, and I'm a business coach, strategist and developer. Now, how was I able to achieve this? When I am called to speak at events, I always try to bring this aspect of my life in. And the thing is, there may be 1 million people there, even if it's 100 people that were able to pick up that particular aspect of my life, it's okay. They may not call you now, they will call you later. And not forgetting to always tell them who you originally are. You are a lawyer who is also do you understand? And what I do is, I try to immerse law into the whole business coaching strategy and development. So while I am trying to help you bring your vision to life, while I am trying to help you strategize and make sure your business is up there, I am also trying to let you know that you must legally structure your business. You must protect yourself legally as a business person. So that way everything is immersed in one.
Okay, so let me hold you up there. Somebody may be listening and like, you are all of these things in one. Now, let's narrow it down. Let's bring it back home. All of us do not have the same capacity, right? Now, for somebody who is doing a particular thing, let's take, for instance, the teaching we have been talking about, right? So for somebody who is doing teaching, how can I stand out in my teaching to become a brand? Even if I don't want to, get into other things, I just want to be the teacher who teaches, and everybody knows that my teaching is what your kid needs to get to the point of excellence. How do I get to that point?
And it's pretty much easy. First of all, we must be clear on who you are. If you're a teacher, let us know that you're a teacher, and that's clarity. Now, beyond clarity, you should be able to connect with people on that level where they know that you're a teacher. So what do I mean by that? You're outside, you're somewhere at an event, conversations are going on, you're not saying anything. You're not, and when you decide to open your mouth, nothing intelligent is coming. Because we all know teachers as people that are knowledgeable. Yeah, so I'm not saying you should know everything, but what I am saying is an intelligent person is not someone that knows maybe everything about something. It's someone who knows something about everything. So you should be able to contribute when discussions are going on, especially outside. That way, when you sound knowledgeable, it's only normal that people would ask you, sorry, what do you do? And the next thing that comes out is, I am a teacher.
Okay. Before we get to where you've arrived now,
Okay.
I want us to talk about the person, right? Me. Yes, I am a teacher. Before I get to the point of selling myself to other people, how do I get myself in the, maybe I'll use the word, get myself in the mood, in the spirit of what I want to be known as? You know, you had talked about how you want to be perceived, who you want to be and how you want to be perceived. Now let's talk about who you want to be. How do I put myself in that, in the image of who I want to be? Let's start from inside out now. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Okay, so now, how you want to, as in, how do I get myself in the space of what I want to be? Like I always say, it all starts from the mind. Ask yourself this question: who I am, what do I want to be, what do I want people to know me as? The moment you're able to answer all of these questions, trust me, you're already on the right path. So you're going to read often on that particular line. So you want to be a teacher, you want to be known as a teacher, you want to earn as a teacher, you want to die as a teacher, read, study to show yourself approved. A workman that need not to be ashamed. So you need to study. So at some point you become an authority in that field. When people are looking for teachers, when people want to train as teachers, when people want to ask questions, be open to even criticism. Because when people constructively criticize you, you know what you're not doing right, and you're able to toe the path of rightness. That way you're growing in that particular field that you so want to be in. So it's from the mind. Prepare your mind to know that, okay, on this journey, I'll meet those people who appreciate me, and I'll meet those people who do not. But at the end of the day, I am working towards a goal. You should be able to connect, with other people, network, be authentic. You do not need to be like the person next door. You need to be like yourself and be a better version of yourself every single day. So if you're a teacher, dress like one. I do not expect you to come out wearing a sagged jean and you want me to look at you and say, wow, no, that means you're deviating from what you want to be. You're deviating from the purpose.
You're not professing.
Exactly. You're not, because I will definitely address you the way you're dressed. So if you want to be seen as a caterer, when people come to your house, be quick to bring out food for them to eat. If donations are being asked in church, maybe something is going on and they're asking people to please do free will donation, quickly tell them you're going to make jollof rice. And that's because you know that when people eat, they will definitely look for who the caterer is. And now there is something I wouldn't encourage. Now, mediocrity has no place in personal branding. So if you want to be known for a particular thing, it's not enough for you to quickly jump out and say, I'll be bringing pepper snail to this gathering, simply because you want us to know that you're a caterer and you can make pepper snail. Now make it well. Make it work out. That's the only thing that will make us remember you next time a caterer is being sought after. So now you must be clear on what your purpose is. You must be authentic. You must be confident in yourself. So do not go out there and teachers are being looked for. Then the next thing you're hiding in the corner simply because you feel like every person in the room is better than you. That's not what personal branding is. You want us to know that you're a teacher, right? You want us to always remember you whenever teachers are being looked for, maybe in your state, in Nigeria, or whatever. So why are you not ashamed to come out when teachers are being called publicly?
Okay. So you made mention of some important points. Work on yourself.
Exactly.
And become the best version of who you want to be seen as, right?
Yeah.
And then put yourself out there. Don't just go hiding in a cocoon.
Exactly.
You must be, there has to be an intentionality about doing this.
Yes.
Because you cannot be branded for nothing.
Exactly. People can brand you when they do not even know what you do.
The Bible says you
Yeah.
will not light a candle and put it under a bushel.
Bushel,
When you
exactly.
light a candle, when you brand yourself, put yourself out
Out
there,
there,
put
yeah.
your services out there. And then you
Exactly.
mentioned another important point, be the best at that thing.
Exactly.
Every opportunity that presents itself, push yourself out there.
Exactly.
Do that thing, but don't, should we do notice me?
No, 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 not at all.
Okay, so I came across this quote by Adam Smiley. He said, carve a niche and then carve a niche within your niche. What do you make of this?
Okay, now it's simple. Okay, like this year, since this year, I put out something in the public space which I call the Lawyer Support Network. Now I am a lawyer, but I think because of the requests I keep getting, young lawyers always reaching out, surprisingly even old lawyers reaching out to ask me, sorry, how are you doing this? I've noticed you have like a large clientele base, and I've noticed you've been able to brand yourself, whereby in a room filled with lawyers, you always stand out, people always make reference to you. How do you do this? So I just thought to myself, why not create this network where lawyers can come together to achieve a particular goal, to work towards advocacy, to work towards maybe supporting a particular purpose and all of that. I made this call on my Instagram platform, and surprisingly now we have about 300 lawyers on that platform. So now you've seen that my niche is law, and I am now creating a niche within the niche. So that's basically what it's about. Yes.
So you should narrow it. It should be so specific that nobody can miss it.
Yeah, exactly. For example, if you're a chef, you're a caterer, people know you for cooking for at events. People know you, maybe you own an eatery somewhere, and people know you bake very good cakes. You can now decide to have a niche within a niche, whereby you go back to your maybe your room and you develop very special recipes, and you begin to push that particular recipe as your design. So at this point, yes, you're in a broader niche, which is you being a chef or a baker or a confectioner. But now we now know that the moment we talk about maybe pineapple pudding, we remember you.
It makes it easier for people to identify.
Exactly. So you've now taken yourself out of the bunch, and you're now standing alone as your authentic personal brand. So that's what building a niche within a niche is. It's usually not easy. It's usually not easy because it's a lot of, you know, when you start off something new, people do not understand where you're coming from. Nobody wants to be a part of anything that is growing, especially when you do not have a lot of money to throw around. All you have are just visions and ideas, and you keep sharing it with people. So the thing is, initially, nobody wants to be a part of it, but trust me,
Once it starts growing.
if you're steadfast, trust me, eventually they will come around. In fact, you'll be the one running, because everybody's just like a light lit somewhere in the open. You see a lot of flies. Yes. So just keep doing what you're doing. Do not be discouraged. Like if I can tell you for a fact that I am my biggest cheerleader, I do not care what anybody has to say. I just keep doing my thing, as long as it doesn't hurt the person next door. Okay. So just keep doing you, keep working towards branding yourself.
Now there's this, somebody will be saying, why is it even necessary for me to brand myself? Wow. I know we have talked about, you know, we have picked it here and there and there. But why is it necessary for a lady who is listening to us out there to even brand herself?
Yeah.
I already have a name, so why do I need an extra?
Okay, now I would say something like, okay, for me, I always tell people I like money, and I want to make it the right way, and I want to make it for myself, because I am that person that I want to have a voice, but I would always say I wouldn't want to have a hungry voice. You know, it's one thing to have a voice, but when people turn back, you have nothing to show for other than that noise. So eventually your voice begins to sound like noise. So you find out that the voice must move along with success. And how do you attain success in such a cold world? Is being able to carve a path for yourself. And how do you carve a path for yourself? By branding yourself in such a way that it gets to a point where you become an authority. Nothing happens except you're involved within that circle, at least. I'm not saying like in the whole state or in the whole country, but at least within your circle, nothing happens without them looking for you. And that's because you've been able to set yourself apart, and you've been able to create a path for yourself. So now...
No, sorry, let me cut you there. I want you to put this side by side, you know, the genuineness of pursuing your brand, right? Because somebody will be wondering, there's something I want to do, but somebody else is doing it. Will I still be a brand if I do this? Please put all of this together.
Okay, so that's where authenticity comes in. You must be your authentic self. Okay, now I always use myself as an example. Shut out every noise. There is a lot of things going on everywhere. Noise everywhere, especially with the advent of social media. You do not know what to believe. If everybody seems to be doing well on social media until you meet them in real life. You understand? So the thing is, shut out the noise and be you. If you feel you want to be that teacher who teaches in pidgin, my dear, brand yourself in that line. Trust me, you have a market waiting for you. And the truth is, even if there are 1 million other people who teach in pidgin, you can decide to move from Warri pidgin to Igbo pidgin. There is Igbo pidgin, people that speak pidgin with Igbo accent. And trust me, they have their markets. Remember that there are a lot of Igbo people who are not even fluent in English itself. So you find out that those people will want to connect with you on that level. So make sure you are your authentic self. Yes, okay, now the
Don't
word
do
is,
it because somebody else is doing it.
exactly, do it because it is what you want to do. Now, beyond passion, make sure that thing gives you money. I always tell people, if not, your passion may lead to frustration. I always tell people, please make sure that you have passion, right? Fine. But if you notice that that passion is not one to fit your bills, it's not going to pay your bills in any store, or maybe pay your NEPA bills or whatever, make sure you merge it with another job or business that will bring the money to help you push your passion, so that you're not that person who is passionate about maybe speaking. You go about doing pro bono jobs, you go about speaking for free at events, then at the end of the day you get frustrated and you start talking down on speaking job, saying it doesn't bring money. I'll advise young people not to go into it. No, you're the one who didn't do it right. Like for me, I am a community person. I love to build communities. I love to maybe link people and connect people. But while having that passion, I had to also tell myself the truth. You need money to be able to fund this thing. So I always make sure that like before I entered, I was responding to messages, sending out my account details to those that needed to have it. You understand? Because I know that at the end of the day, I need money to leave this studio. You understand? So please make sure that while you're trying to brand yourself in that line, do not enter your room and be saying, oh God, I want to be a skit maker. You're making skits, nobody knows you anywhere. You're just making skits. No. If the skit is not working, carry your CV and go and look for a 9 to 5. So that when at least you see money to buy your own camera, you stop renting, Abi. You see money to at least create that backdrop in your room where you're able to create your skit. So at the end of the day, make sure that while you're having your passion and you're trying to create that part and brand yourself in that regard, you're able to also set up something for yourself that would give you money to be able to fund your personal brand. Because at the end of the day, it's money. Thank you.
Amazing. Now let's talk about character.
Okay.
How important is character to branding?
Wow, you just said something. How important is character when it comes to branding? Like, I would say it's everything. Because it's just like building a house, then turning around to tear down the house that you've built for yourself. Even though we're in a world right now where a lot of people have thrown caution to the wind, a lot of people have, it's beginning to look like when you do the right thing, people mock you for doing the right thing. They call you a pretender for doing the right thing. But let me tell you something. That's the only thing that will stand the test of time. Now, people tell you that every publicity is publicity. So you might as well go on Instagram and release your nude by yourself. At the end of the day, you're going viral and people are following you. But remember that you may release that nude today. Tomorrow, you decide to contest for something and that surfaces again. So now your character shouldn't always come up. Especially with the negative aspect of it, when something, because now people may be in a room and that room is filled with opportunities and your name is mentioned, then someone somewhere just says, you want to give that one job, you will not do it, or you just chop your money and run away. Now I see that your character is now in question. So while you're trying to build your personal brand, be that person who is completely reliable. Be that person who is transparent. Be that person who one can always walk up to and be able to tell a problem and you keep it. Do not be flippant. Do not go around telling people, because you can't brand yourself to be a therapist or brand yourself to be a counselor. Then I come to you to tell you something simply because I feel that you're a counselor. Now, at that point, for me to even feel, that means you've succeeded in branding yourself in that regard. You understand? Now, I come to you to tell you, oh, I have these challenges. Then before I walk out of the door, the next person has heard it. So at that point, you find out that I wouldn't refer anybody to you. And if I feel so hurt, I am going to like run you down anywhere I get this letter opportunity. So at that point, you find out that you've succeeded in branding yourself, but because you've not been able to work on your character, it's not going to be sustained. It's not going to be sustained. So please, character is everything. Do not always think of cheating the person next door, please.
Amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We'll go on a very short break. There's plenty more when we return. Remember that character will test your brand. See you right after now.
Hello viewers, welcome to this week's episode on Health Watch on Advent Cable Network Nigeria. I am Angela Emeka Ebibu.
What we need as humans is to have a good spiritual life. It's more important than having an abundance of possessions without a healthy spirit.
We have issues that relate to sexual affairs. There is something called consent. If a person says no, that means she or he hasn't given their consent.
My mother delivered children on her own. A baby that is too big, how do you want it to come out without having issues?
Your faith does not negate you going for a medical check or engaging in a medical therapy. It doesn't.
The patient has his own rights, and this right has to do with the right patient, the right drug, the right dose, the right duration, you understand? Even the right time in how it is given.
Welcome back. We have been speaking with the amazing Ifunanya Tine Anona on the conversation personal branding. Trust me, she has said a lot. But what stood out for me before we went on the break was the fact that no matter what you build, no matter what kind of brand you build, without character, it's all going to be lost like a pack of cards. Let's continue with this conversation on building this brand. Okay, you have talked about character. Let's talk about other things that could impact on the success of a brand, of a person who is trying to build a brand or who has built a brand.
Okay, so at this point, you've succeeded in building a brand, right? Now, how do you sustain it? The thing is, like I always say, everywhere is saturated. There's no single thing. Even if you bring in an invention today, people are waiting to copy it immediately. And that's why most times when you bring in a design into the market, give it 1 week. Other rich men quickly just bastardize it. Everybody just copies it and makes it in different colors and all. So how do you stand out? You must, if it's for product, it must be durable. So you as an individual, your character must be A1, like, so that no matter what happens, people know that we know who the real people are. And when they are looking for the real people, you are one of them. So now it's a world where there are 100 comedians, but when we're talking of the authentic ones, those ones that if you pay them, they give you value for your money. Those ones that when they put call to train young comedians, you're there. Those ones that they wouldn't go around pimping young comedians to maybe other people to prey on them, you're there. You understand? So at that point, your character would sustain the brand which you succeeded in building. Yeah, so another thing is wellness. Please invest in being well. I tell people, do not be carried away by, actually I think that's one of the negative effects of social media, because everyone seems to be doing well on social media, quote unquote. So now we're all just striving to be there, we're all just striving to be known as a thing, or maybe to be known for this and that, and we neglect ourselves. So while you're pursuing those things that you hope to be or you once dreamed to be, make sure that you do not get to that point of the ladder where you've always dreamed to be and suddenly you fall ill. And that's because you were not able to take care of yourself. So please invest on your wellness, take those supplements, take those fruits and vegetables. I always tell people, like people always tell me, the fixer, like, how are you able to do this? How are you able to do that? Like I have my low moments, but what I do is, there are things I do not joke with. I try as much as I can to rest. Like for the past 2 days, I've not left my house because I just said, okay, you know what? I need to rest. My workers called and I told them, Oga, who is this? Joel, please do not call me. I'll call you on Wednesday. And that's it. I need to rest. There are times you just need to put your phone on flight mode to rest. This is what will sustain you, because you wouldn't want to eventually brand yourself. You're known for that thing
and not be available.
Exactly. Then you get to that point, then suddenly you hear that the person has kidney problem. And another thing, your lifestyle matters, because there's something that comes with fame. If you're not able to manage fame, you see yourself being surrounded with a lot of people who do not even align with your value. They are just there for what they can get from you, or they're just there because they want to somehow be affiliated to your person, because they know that your name carries a lot of weight, because they know that you have an identity, which is what they need to climb the social ladder. So at that point, if you're not careful, you see yourself engaging in habits which originally shouldn't be. You see yourself smoking, you see yourself drinking, staying out late and all of that. And at the end of the day, it begins to tell on you. And that's why we see a lot of successful people, before they get to 50, 60, you start hearing of they're looking for kidney donors. And that's because of some of them led some kind of lifestyle that they shouldn't. And that's why at the point where they should be seen as veterans and legends, they are suddenly seen as people begging on social media to sustain their health. So these are some of the things we should do, so that when we get to that point that we aspire to be, we do not suddenly fall to the sick bay, and maybe other people begin to
take benefit of
the things you've worked for. Yes.
Amazing. Now there's this challenge, right? We all want to succeed. We all work to succeed. We do everything to succeed. But there's failure somewhere, right?
Definitely.
In the process of trying.
Yeah.
So how do I handle, one is the fear of failure, right?
Yeah.
And how do I handle the actual failure
when it comes?
When I am working on branding myself.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, I always say something. I say something that the fixer lawyer never fails. I only learn. And that has been a mindset for me, and it's been working for me. Now, what people term as failure, I term as an avenue for me to learn that, okay, you did this, it didn't work. Now, next time, do it this way. Except you're not sensitive, except you're not an intelligent person, except you're someone who, instead of blaming yourself at every point, you always look for a way to throw blames around. That way you never get to learn when such situations which we term failure comes. Now, I am someone who is particular about the words I use, and that's why oftentimes I tell people, I do not fail, I learn. So if that thing happens, which ordinarily you should term failure, see it as a learning point for yourself. Say, okay,
it's part of the branding process.
Exactly. Nobody has it easy. Even those ones that wealth was handed, because you know there are people that wealth was handed over to. Now, let's assume I am a musician, my father is very rich, or I come from a home where my mom is extraordinarily rich, and they gave me maybe to even shoot my very first music video, I was given like 20 million. Do you know it's possible to go and shoot that video, and at the end of the day, the person that shot it will now tell you that, sorry, that the thing cleared from the camera, or that the camera and there is no backup. That means after flying to Santorini and flying everywhere with the money, then you hear that there is no backup and everything has disappeared. That's number one failure, because like 20 million has gone down the drain and you have nothing to show for it. So what happens at that point? Number one, do not see that you failed. See it as see it from an angle of, wow, okay, that means maybe what we should have done is to have a backup, maybe like 2 cameramen on set or 3 cameramen, so that everybody is getting something. So that even if one person crashes, the other 2 are there for us, you know, that kind of thing. So at that point, see that in this journey, it cannot be all smooth. But it will be worth it at the end of the day. Remember, you're focusing at that light at the end of the tunnel. And before you get to the light, it's darkness all the way. Before you eventually get to the light, you're looking at the top of the mountain. Now, what happens before you get to the top of the mountain is what we call process. So just tell yourself, I did not fail. I am simply going through the process of achieving my goals. I am going through the process of attaining success. I am going through the process of being who I have always dreamt to be. And God willing, you will get there once you persevere, once you're very dedicated, once you're hardworking, once you're able to take things in and not always, because the mistake we all make is most times we keep blaming ourselves, and before you know it, you've fallen into a place of sadness, anxiety, depression, and you're not able to forge ahead. So the truth is, you know, this thing of personal branding, forget all the glitz and glamour we see on social media. It's not easy. A lot of people go back home every day crying. A lot of people go back home every day shouting on everybody, becoming so anxious. So do not think you're the only one going through it. Everybody is going through it, including myself. That's the simple truth.
But I think this quote by Timothy Hong, the CEO of Stories by Tim, is very instructive. He said, you will never achieve the best branding until you fail a couple of times while pushing past your comfort zone.
Exactly.
So failure helps you push past your comfort zone to arrive at the ultimate brand.
Yeah, okay. Maybe first and foremost, I must say something. Nothing good ever happens in your comfort zone. You know why? When you're in that comfort zone and you don't make a move to leave that comfort zone, you remain in that comfort zone. Other people will come and pass you in that comfort zone. You're in that comfort zone. And there's something about comfort zone. In few years down the line, your comfort zone becomes dilapidated. Remember, you're just in that comfort zone. You're not striving to make a change. So now, a house that is not being renovated, over time it gets old and it starts to fall apart. So that's what's going to happen to your comfort zone. Now, for me, I studied law in the university. So it would have been very easy for me to maybe end up in a law firm just working. And that's fine, because I am going to earn, I am going to have clients and all. But trust me, I decided to tour a different path where I just, maybe I went into tech a bit, and that's where I'm able to navigate a lot of platforms. Like when I begin to teach people how to use Instagram, how to use this, how to make people see you on Google, people keep asking me, how did you learn this? Now, the funny thing is I just learned on the job. I just kept trying. But I decided to go that way. And because of that, I have clients everywhere. Like people refer me from Dubai, from this, from that, from this. Okay. And that's what it is.
What we have identified here is the fact that you need to know where your comfort zone is. Yes. Because if you don't know what your comfort zone is, you can't know when to step out of it.
Yeah.
So it's a call to all of us, to me. Yeah, to me.
Yeah.
Let's look back. Where is that your comfort zone? If we're looking at building a brand, our comfort zone is not the comfortable place to build it. If we're looking at building a brand, the place to build it is in our uncomfortable zone.
Okay, sorry, let me just chip in something. Let me use a doctor as an example. We all know their comfort zone is the moment you're done with your internship, you land in a hospital and you begin to work. You'll be paid, obviously. That's your comfort zone. Now, starting to pursue a course or going on a research, maybe, because I know one of my doctor friends, he has been researching on cure to sickle cell. So that is him leaving his comfort zone now. In fact, he had to start taking on remote jobs so that he has time to be able to go on the research, whatever. He has been doing this for years, and I am praying for him and hoping he actually gets a result. So please, if you studied, for example, sociology, you come out and you find yourself in an NGO, that's your comfort zone, because we all definitely, after studying such a course, maybe the next thing should be one social kind of thing. So now, stepping out of where we naturally know you should be is you leaving your comfort zone.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So we're drawing to a close. Let's tie this all together. I believe all of this come together at some point, and that point is purpose, right? You don't just brand or become a brand indiscriminately or by mistake. You don't stumble on it. it's something you work on. We have talked about that. Something you work on deliberately from a place of purpose.
Exactly.
So how do we get our purpose to align, or get our brand, yes, to align with purpose?
Okay, now I want to say something, even though, okay, it's somehow part of the question. Now, as a woman, if you're trying to build a brand, it's all inclusive. It starts from the way people perceive you outwardly, even before you open your mouth.
Before you go there,
yes,
you know, I like to start from inside. It starts from how you perceive yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's how you perceive yourself that determines how people, it's like it sends out a particular kind of fragrance before people even start perceiving you.
Okay.
So I think we should come from that point.
Okay, fine. Okay, I think why I didn't say that, because I know we've talked about like building your mind towards what you want to be. Then over time, people around you begin to tap into the power of your mind. Now, I am talking of the way you look outwardly. Now, I've had a lawyer, several lawyers complain to me that everybody wants to sleep with them. And that's because now everybody wants, why wouldn't they sleep with you? It's the way you presented yourself to them. I'm not here to judge anyone or to tell you how to dress, but then you're trying to brand yourself.
Dress your brand.
Exactly, to be that powerful lawyer. Then suddenly you're dressing in such a way that portrays you as someone that sleeps in the club. I'm not saying it is bad. If that's what you want to do, fine. But what I am saying is you cannot want someone to call you Mr. A, but what you're showing them is Z. Then when they call you Z, you take an offense. No. So if you want to be known as A, do what should be expected of A. You want them, law is a noble profession, for crying out loud. You want to be known as a teacher, then you wear very skimpy things, you're found smoking in public places, and you think maybe a sane person will bring their child for you to teach, no matter how intelligent you are. So I think, yeah, we should take that all in. Everything that has to do with branding is wholesome. So you should come from the wholesome part of it.
Yes, and the wholesome part of it is the place of purpose. Know why you were created. And when you know why you were created, you will be able to brand yourself, brand your actions. The way you even speak is important.
Very important.
The way you laugh is important. It's not you laugh in public and you're opening your legs and everything. The way you dress, the way you walk, for God's sake, is important as a lady. When we heard of ladies, we knew that there was some elegance and poise that came with it. So that's what branding is trying to reinvent.
Exactly.
So reinvent yourself as that person of elegance, poise, intelligence.
Exactly.
What am I missing? Every good thing that comes, that embodies a woman. I hate it when I hear beauty with brains. Because you're trying to say, oh, she's beautiful. Some of them are beautiful and they've not got brains. We've all got brains. So use it, brand it, and get the best of it.
Out of it,
You have been amazing.
Thank you.
This conversation has been something.
Thank you.
Right. We'll go into our Ask Away segments right after this break. Welcome to our Ask Away segment. We've been having very interesting questions over the weeks. And today there's this question from a lady, and it says, I work in an organization where my efforts are not appreciated, no matter how hard I try. I'm contemplating a resignation because it is beginning to impact negatively on my self-worth. Please help me. That's from C. You need to ask yourself some important questions, like what am I not getting right? Is there something others are doing that I am not doing? I don't know. Ifunanya, can you weigh in on this conversation, on this question?
On the question, okay, I think maybe I would say it wasn't well asked, because we wouldn't know where she's coming from. Now, she's supposed to ask yourself this question, why do they keep complaining no matter how hard I try? Because it's one thing to have a result, and it's another thing to
have the desired results.
Yes, to be able to have a desired result, then be able to also tell us how you arrived at that result. And that's why even in mathematics, you write the answer as long as it's a theory question. we should see the workings before you eventually drop the answer. So if you're dropping results and we cannot really pinpoint how you were able to achieve this, remember that you may be doing things that would eventually get the organization into trouble. Now I will give you an example from the angle of a lawyer. Now maybe you are supposed to clear your company's goods from maybe the border, or maybe from customs, or from wharf, or whatever. Now you go there and you bribe some officials. Instead of going through the right way, you're cutting corners here and there. Now this is what you should know. At the end of the day, you're not going to stay in that organization forever. You're going to leave. And remember that records do not lie. If eventually maybe the company was supposed to pay tax and present their tax clearance form and certificate, and you omit that simply because you've sorted them out and that's not submitted, this can resurface in 10 years time and cause problem for the organization.
Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. So she should check the process, right?
Yeah, the process.
And then another angle could be, if you find that you're doing all that needs to be done right, and maybe the organization now wants you to, you know, to bend the process a little bit.
Yeah.
That affects your
another,
values.
yeah.
It could affect your values,
That's
that affects your
another,
faith. Then you think it again. Maybe the organization is not for you.
It's not for you. But I must say something. Do not be quick to resign. First of all, how much have you saved up? Do you have an alternative so that you don't leave and you become stranded? I always tell people this. So set a goal for yourself. Okay, I would leave in 4 months, so that within 4 months you're able to put together resources. Then you leave. Thank you.
Amazing. So that's all for our Ask Away segments. Next is our legal tidbits. Right, welcome to our legal tidbits segment. We have a question today, or we have what they call it, an advice, right? It's advisory. Are you planning on getting into a partnership or contract with an individual or a corporate entity? What do you do? Please do not assume knowledge of how to draft agreements by jumping online to download something that looks like what you need. I know a lot of people do this. They'll just go online, get this, get that, and you know, they feel the contract is ready and send it out for signing. Lawyers were trained with a certain kind of eyes. Once they look at an agreement, they know when something is wrong. So it's important to contact your lawyer first, discuss the details, and be properly guided. Trust me, that's cheaper than a protracted litigation. We are in Nigeria. We don't go to court today and come back tomorrow. It's not African magic. You go to court and the case is on for years. So why not save yourself that ordeal by contacting your lawyer? The same goes for any contracts given to you, or tenancy agreement, whatever it is. No matter how insignificant you feel it is, please approach a lawyer. He helps you review it before you append your signature, so that we save ourselves, like Nigerians say, stories that touch the heart. All right, so this is how much we can take on today's. I know there's a lot. I know if anyone wants to say something, but let's hang it here.
Yeah.
This is where we draw the curtain on today's conversation. I hope you are more informed. Till we come your way again next week, same time, same station. Remember that you are a brand because you are worthy by design. I'm Iberi James. See you next time.